In case you missed it, the news wrote the prosecutors updated the evidence against Melly. He didn't know he was filmed admitting to the murder of Sakchaser and Juvy. This will end bad. Where only 5 hours after the murder was done, Melly was being filmed, dancing in a parking lot with Bortlen.
Melly still turned regardless of what happened this early morning. He's still out here being very positive. Turned still. Hey! No, still turned, regardless of what happened. You already know.
Showing not an ounce of sadness for the passing of their best friends. However, without his knowledge, he was being filmed once again. 30 minutes before the murder, Melly's seen exiting the studio, sitting directly in the back left seat of the Jeep to get ready, then waiting for Sakchaser, Juvy, and Bortlen to get in.
Excuse me, you're able to see? Yes? All right.
The official court documents read, the direction of the bullets, traveling from left to right in the car, supports the claim that the shots originated from the back left seat, where Melly was positioned. Even Juvy's mother confirmed he was there.
Can you state your name, your full legal name for the jury?
Leon Phillips.
Okay. And are you related to one of the victims in this case?
Yes, I am.
How so?
I'm his mother.
And who is that?
Christopher Thomas.
Ms. Phillips, did you see who entered into the occupants who entered into that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Do you recognize where your son entered that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Which seat, if you can identify for the jury?
He got in the back seat on the right-hand side.
Did you recognize the individual that got into the back seat on the left side, the rear driver's side?
Yes.
And who was that individual?
Janelle.
With the prosecutors repackaging that evidence to present it to the new judge, they created a new plan to make sure Melly's found guilty, as they made deals with Bortlen and Melly's ex-girlfriend, Mariah Hamilton. Because Mariah was supposed to show up in the original Melly trial, but she fled the United States and was out of the country for the last 3 years. She was supposed to testify against Melly, but never showed up, making her wanted by police.
Mariah Hamilton is spending her first day at the Broward County Jail. She has no arrest record until now. U.S. Border Patrol agents arrested her at Miami International Airport Monday after she arrived on an international flight. Court records show Hamilton was ordered to testify in Demon's first trial in 2023.
But in order to release Mariah, she had to agree to testify in the Melly case. But she took to Facebook to say, "Thank you to my village. I love y'all so much. God's plan, not mine," as the feds have evidence of Melly allegedly witnessed tampering with Mariah before the first trial. This is a completely new charge against Melly, which will have him facing life in prison regardless of if he took out Sakchaser and Juvy.
The state filing 6 new charges against Demons and 2 others who were allegedly involved. The charges include tampering with a witness, directing the activities of a criminal, solicitation or conspiracy to commit tampering, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Now, a couple of those charges actually carry a life in prison sentence if there's a conviction.
The witness tampering charge is completely separate from the murder charges, but as a result of him being charged with tampering, Melly's been unable to use the jail phones for the last year. It even got so bad that Melly's mother spoke about it in an interview.
My son has not been convicted of anything, and even other inmates that have been convicted or anything, they have the right to use a telephone. They have a right to be allowed to write letters to their loved ones, to receive their mail. They hold his mail, they don't give it to him.
But if the evidence is true that he's been tampering, that's why he hasn't been allowed on the jail phones. However, it's what Bortlen will do to Melly that will sentence him to life in prison, as he's the one that can ruin Melly's case if he decides to turn on him. And it's more likely to happen than you think, because Melly already tried turning on Bortlen in the first trial when his lawyer shared.
Those were his lies. Cortland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. You don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car with 2 bodies, a car riddled with bullets. And when he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he had discharged a firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having a phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in his pocket, not Cortland Henry.
As Melly's lawyer revealed that Bortlen lied to the feds, he was the one last with Sakchaser and Juvy, and he was the one who had firearm powder on his hands, as an investigator spoke more about that.
So the right hand of Cortland Henry contained 0 particles characteristic of heart residue and two component particles. And the left hand contained 1 particle characteristic of heart residue and 1 2-component particle.
Okay. And can you explain to us what that means?
Basically, overall, there was heart residue present on the hands.
Bortlen really hated this because when Melly got a mistrial, Bortlen tweeted, "Mind games don't work on people like me," alongside a handshake emoji as if he's accepting a deal. But it gets really scary because if Bortlen is in the trial with Melly, the prosecutors will use his interrogation from the night of the crime, where he's lying to police to cover up for Melly.
Okay, tell me what happened.
Man, I was playing music, getting off the exit. I was already getting sleepy, almost home, you know what I'm saying? And like, just out of nowhere, like, I just heard, you know what I'm saying? So, and I ducked down, you know what I'm saying, in the car, and I almost crashed the car.
Let me back you up a few minutes. Where were you coming from?
I was coming from the studio, from Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale studio. Which way did you take?
I took I-75, 595
to 75. Then you took 75 south?
As the officers know, his story isn't adding up, and Bortlen would eventually get caught in a lie.
Here's the hard part where we're having a hard time to understand, is that we shut down that entire area, and we had officers shoulder to shoulder walk it out. They didn't find as much as 1 shell casing. They didn't find 1 piece of glass, nothing. Nothing to what you said adds up. And it's hard.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro, that's the class.
I mean, for whatever reason, your 2 friends, are these your good friends?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These my like,
these your 2, I'm assuming close friends.
Yeah, we got.
And you're doing them an in-service by not telling us the truth.
I'm telling you the truth, sir. I don't like. How? What do you want?
How do you make shell casings disappear?
I don't know. How can I tell you about a shell case?
But the interrogation got even worse when Bortlen tried to shut down the conversation.
I told y'all the story, and that's it, bro. I don't even talk about it anymore. Like, cause I told y'all. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Okay, just so you know, all right, because you're saying, well, I don't want to talk anymore. There's going to be a lot more questions. There's, and we're not trying to piss you off. The thing is, we don't know your friends.
Yeah.
So the reason we have to ask all these questions, because the more we know about your friends, your lifestyle, your friend's lifestyle, your friends, his friends, and the circumstances surrounding today, the more, the easier it's going to be for us to try and solve this.
However, the officer reset the interrogation by beginning to ask about other things from the night. Like, how was Bortlen driving? Did he crash into anything and more?
And I'm driving, ducking for my life, trying to make sure I don't get hit. And you telling me, you telling me about shit. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. I'm driving. I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. You know what I'm saying? What I'm gonna be worried about? You know what I'm saying?
I know it's not for you to worry about.
Shit crazy, bro.
But if you tell me it happened there's got to be some evidence there. There's going to be broken glass, just like there's broken glass over here from when you guys opened the doors and stuff like that. Okay, there's going to be broken glass over there when the windows got out. There's going to be casings from the people at your car. Okay, there's going to be evidence over there. Okay, right now, there's nothing. I kind of think I know what happened because I got information.
But with time and the interrogation running out, the officer straight up asked, "If you know who did this, would you tell me?"
By just telling me the truth, even if it's something that I don't want to hear, but I respect the truth rather than BS, okay? And it's a simple question. If you knew who did this, okay? You may or may not know. If you knew who did this, would you tell me? It's either a yes or no question. Answer.
Honestly.
Yeah, honestly. The truth. You wouldn't?
Because I wouldn't want to be a part of that. I wouldn't want to be.
But Bortlen refused to say his answer. Instead, he just shook his head no, as he was scared the officer would know if he was lying if he said it out loud. Despite all of this, his lawyers have tried to get Melly out on bond. As it was reported, Melly's lawyers submitted their last paperwork for Melly to be released on a bond till trial in September. This time, they have full confidence Melly will be released from jail, as we heard Melly speak on the bond release.
We just still praying. I know I said I would give, I'll keep everybody updated with what's happening. I know right now we're waiting. So basically the judge is going to do, I guess, a written order. So we're just waiting, and that order can come any minute, or it could come tomorrow. I don't know. So we're just waiting. We're just waiting. So everybody just keep praying, keep having faith. Oh, Tessa, stop. I've been crying too. It's been a long time coming, you know.
But we heard the latest details from Melly's lawyers on the bond package. With it announced, Melly's legal team proposed posting an unspecified bond that would be paid by his record label, 300 Entertainment. If granted bond, they assured the judge that Melly would be on house arrest, wear an ankle monitor, and hire round-the-clock security to keep tabs on him. It was so good, a rapper wrote, "That boy Melly coming home, I feel it," as Melly's lawyers and mom claimed they have physical evidence showing that Melly isn't being treated right, which is illegal.
When you saw Melly's statement, just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life, as a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless. Broward Sheriff's Office definitely needs to be investigated. I mean, they are making up their own rules. We've tried to go to court about this situation. The judge really doesn't have any jurisdiction when it comes to the jail, because we actually had a hearing about the mistreatment of him, and the jail they make their own rules. And I don't think that's fair, because I know that they need to answer to someone too.
And in defense of Melly, his lawyers showed the new judge that GPS evidence puts him running away from the crime scene and hiding into a bush, making it seem like he was scared of whoever did the alleged drive-by.
That would be the part where he's saying that someone just shot the car up and was trying to shoot them. So I asked him if he was okay, where he was, and he's like, there's a car coming behind him, like hiding. He was like, there's some, yeah, there's some, I think they're still out here or something. So I'm like, are you okay? He's like, I'm okay. I said, well, where are Sac and Juvy? And he said, I don't know if they're in the car. I think they're.
And to try proving that Melly didn't do the crime, they announced in court how a firearm for the crime was never even found.
So the first thing is I didn't have a firearm, so I can't know which firearm I'm going to use in order to replicate any of my tests. So I can't make tests for this determination because I don't know what